Hello there people, welcome back to The Break. My name is Patricia Bright and today I've got you because we are about to talk all things property and getting on to that ladder, because I know it's hard out here in the streets for those of you who are wanting to know more about property and just being able to get a home somehow. So today I was going to go over what it takes to get on the property ladder, and this is kind of like a first time buyer's guide and overview. Now you might not be already about to buy a property, but that's okay. Save this. This is hope. If you are interested one day or you have a goal to, you can refer back to this video as a little bit of a guide. Now I'm going to be doing a whole property series and we're going to get into lots more details. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, smash the like button. I always hate when people say smash the like button, to be completely honest with you, because I think it sounds really, dirty. Like dirty. We need another word for like hitting the like button. Even hitting, we need something feminine and girly. Suggestions down below, I'll take it, but caress the like button. That's a good term. We like that. Right, let's get into this video. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get your finances in order. Now, there's no shortcut to this. There's no ifs, there's no buts. There's not that many ways around it. You need a deposit to purchase a property nowadays. Now, these can be anywhere from 5% to whatever you're willing to put down, and that's obviously going to take some saving, some working, and getting some money together. I know a lot of people ask about some of the options that are out there, such as Help to Buy, shared ownership, saving in a lifetime ISA. These are other options that are out there that allow you to put a lower deposit down, but I have some theories around there which I could talk about in another video. But in general, you need between 5 and 10% of the value of the property you want to purchase to be able to get onto the ladder. Your deposit will impact how much you're able to borrow and also your interest rate. So the larger the deposit you have, the better. So of course you need to get saving when it comes to putting money down for a house. So not only do you have to pay for your deposit, but there are also some additional expenses on top that you have to consider. Now, these can go actually into the thousands category. So be aware, it's not just your deposit, but there are these costs. Some of these costs include your surveys and your conveyances, the searches that are done as well. These cost between £1,000 to £2,000, and it could cost even more depending on your property or if they find something that they need more information on. You also have stamp duty. This is an additional fee that the government like to put on top of the value of your house, besides the value of the house. And now at the moment, if you're a first time buyer and the property is under £300,000, hooray, you don't have to pay that stamp duty, but you have to pay stamp duty on anything that is over £300,000. You might have to pay for removal costs, renovation costs, but we'll get into that a bit later. Now, when it comes to applying for a mortgage, when it comes to getting your finance in order, there are some other things you need to really be considering. Number one, your credit score matters. Anybody telling you out here that credit score doesn't matter? They a liar. Credit score really matters. How you've been spending your money wild, it can come back to bite you in the butt. Now, if you guys want me to do a video on how to improve your credit score, caress the like button and I will do a video on it. But yes, it's really important. Number two, don't change jobs before you get a mortgage, or at least make sure you're working in that career for at least 3 months. When you do a mortgage application, they are looking for this kind of information. Where have you been working? What's the evidence? What your salary has been? If you've only been working at your new job for 1 month and you've only got one evidence of you being paid that salary, it's not going to be enough that you can actually keep paying going forward. So ideally, you don't want to be changing jobs before you apply for a mortgage. I've got to be honest with you, if you've got a lot of debt in your past or that you're dealing with or you're paying towards, it's not going to be helpful from a financial perspective for yourself, because you've got to pay for your mortgage and all this debt. But also mortgage providers are going to be look at how much you can actually afford your mortgage and what are your other liabilities. Debt is a liability on your name that you kind of don't want to have, and it will impact a mortgage application. And this is a positive note. If you have someone that you trust, someone who you know is financially smart, but it could be an aunt or an uncle or a parent or a sibling or a friend that you have a good relationship with. If two of you guys can combine income to get an investment and also put a decent contract together between the two of you, then it could really help you, one, from having a large deposit, but two incomes are better than one on a mortgage application. So these are some of the ways that you can get your finances together to get on the property ladder. The next step is getting your paperwork together. Paperwork is so annoying, and this is where it really gets very sticky. Like, if your paperwork isn't together and if you're not an organized person with a clipboard and a folder, you're not gonna get a house. You need to be the clipboard folder person, okay? Now, really, when you get your paperwork together, it's all about being able to get an agreement in principle. A lot of the time, you're not even able to view properties without an agreement in principle. And an agreement in principle is basically lenders or a lender saying, I would be willing to give this person £400,000. Yes, I would give them £400,000 to buy a property. You would then be able to share that agreement in principle with an estate agent or even a buyer to say, listen, this bank has said they'll be willing to give me money. Let me have a look around the house. Without an agreement in principle, you have no idea how much money you might be able to lend from a bank. A key thing to note is that this can be done without doing a hard credit check. So it means that your credit score is not impacted. However, do make sure you check this. And normally what will happen, you will sit down with a mortgage advisor or a lender directly, and they will go through a bunch of questions and want to see lots of paperwork to see what's possible. They will really be taking into account your income, your expenses, any debt that you have, and they really go through your budget. How do you spend your money on a regular basis? What they really want to establish is if you can actually afford your monthly mortgage repayments. If you are self-employed like I am, it gets a little bit more tricky. You will need to show your trading accounts for at least 3 years. They want to see that your business is actually making money, and of course any additional supporting evidence that they ask for as well. Okay, so by this point in time, we've got our deposit, we've got our money in order, we've got evidence and paperwork together and an agreement in principle. The next step is viewing properties. Now, this is the fun bit. Hooray, yay! But it's actually quite long. Finding a property that you actually like, that is the right price, that is value for money, is where you want it to be, is actually kind of hard. It can take a week to find the perfect property or even a year or more to find the perfect property. My genuine opinion is not to rush this process. I would definitely advise seeing lots of different properties to get an idea of the kind of thing that you like. What you have in mind might not actually be what you get in the end. And also it's good to search previous house prices, speak to the owners, have a little look around, and also visit properties more than one time. Remember, when it comes to property values, it's whatever a person is willing to pay for it. If someone says it's 100 grand and you wouldn't pay 100 grand, then it's only worth what you're willing to pay for it. But please be aware there might be someone else who's willing to pay more for it. You can definitely offer under the asking price, it's expected, but sometimes properties that are really popular can go for higher than the asking price if there is a bidding war around it. Don't let anyone pressurize you into putting offers in straight away if you're not ready to do that. So once you've made an offer on a property and it's been accepted, the property is almost yours, but do not get carried away because stuff can happen that causes your home and your offer to fall through. So next up comes all the hard work and the additional people. This includes your solicitors, your lender, surveyors, conveyancing. These things might throw up things that make your property not a good property to buy. We had this with one of our first homes. We loved the house. We had an agreement in principle. We sent the surveyors there, and the surveyors will go and look at that home and see if there's anything you need to be aware of or the bank needs to be aware of. There's this property that we absolutely loved. It was gorgeous, but the surveyor came back with a report that said there was a thing called Japanese knotweed in the garden. We didn't know that Japanese knotweed is a weed that makes a home considered unmortgageable. So we weren't able to get a mortgage on that property because it had this weed in the back. It was actually growing behind our actual land, and that stopped that deal dead. And it was so crazy. They also look for things such as, subsidence or cracks in the building, all these kind of things that may have a risk around your home. Now, with that information, you might decide to negotiate the price of your house down. You might say, well, we found that there's slight subsidence here. We want you to drop the price of the property by £15,000. You might be able to have that negotiating power as well. So the solicitors will make sure that everything is done legally. That is what their job is to do, but it's to also protect you legally. It might not feel like they do very much, and they also work so bloody slowly. It's really annoying. You get really frustrated with your solicitors. You need to give them calls all the time, but they make sure that you are protected from a legal perspective. So once you've had your offer accepted, you will need to get a formal mortgage offer. And this is for you to decide what kind of mortgage package is right for you. You'll decide this with your mortgage advisor or your financial advisor and your lender. You might choose to go for a repayment or an interest only mortgage. You might go for a fixed rate or a tracker mortgage. There are so many different types of mortgages out there. Now, if you're not quite sure what kind of mortgage is right for you, it's definitely worth asking a financial advisor or an independent mortgage broker. Remember, some of these brokers are paid directly by banks to sell you that bank's offer. So you want to find someone who isn't linked to a particular bank, but is able to find the best thing on the market for you. So your offer's been accepted, your mortgage offer is in place, your surveys have been done, you have exchange, and you have completion. This is the final step in the process. The solicitors will exchange contracts with each other, and at that point in time, you are legally bound to that property. Once those exchanges have been done, that property is yours, baby. That property is yours. And then you put a completion date in place. It's a date that is written to say this is the date they have to leave your property and the date you are officially allowed to move in. So guys, there you have it. That's my first time buyers overview. I've given you some of the key steps it takes to purchasing a property. Now, I will be doing a much longer series on property, from investing to buying to all that good stuff. So make sure you are subscribed and stay tuned. Caress the like button, share this with your friends, your girls, your guys who are trying to make sure that they're living their life on point, especially when it comes to their finance and development. But I will catch you all very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.